The desert wind still bit at my face, but the dust was different now. I lowered my binoculars, my grip tight. Below us, the valley floor was a grim sight. The blight spread like a metallic stain across the once green landscape. It grew faster than Valeriana had feared, consuming everything in its path. Valeriana stepped forward, her silver hair catching the dull light. "The blight does not just kill the land, Sergeant," she explained, her voice grave. "It rewrites it." She pointed to the trees nearest the spreading corruption. Their branches twisted into unnatural, metallic shapes, gleaming dully in the light. The very wood seemed to be turning to iron. Corporal Jenkins, ever the tech specialist, checked his tablet. His brow furrowed with concern. "The energy readings are erratic, Sergeant," he reported, his voice anxious. "I think the device is in a feedback loop. It's drawing energy from the environment to expand itself. That's why it's growing so fast." A heavy weight settled in my chest. This was our mess. I looked at Jenkins, then at Valeriana. "We can't run from this," I stated, my voice firm. "We brought this destruction here. Therefore, we have a responsibility to fix it." I made my decision clear. We're going down. We're shutting that device down. With our objective set, we began our careful descent. The rocky slope was treacherous, but we moved with practiced caution. As we went lower, the air grew noticeably heavier, almost thick. A low electrical hum became audible, vibrating through the ground. It was faint at first, then grew steadily louder, a constant reminder of the anomaly below. We followed a narrow, winding path. Soon, Jenkins stopped abruptly, pointing ahead. By the path, we found a dead deer. Its fur was matted with a strange rust-colored dust. Even more disturbing, small metallic crystals grew from its antlers, glinting unnaturally. It was a clear sign of the blight's terrible reach. Valeriana knelt beside the deer, her expression somber. She reached out a gloved hand and touched the ground. It felt cold and hard, like solid metal, not living earth. She withdrew her hand slowly. "The very soil is losing its life force," she warned, her voice barely a whisper. "It becomes barren, unable to sustain anything." I checked my rifle, making sure it was ready. Then I motioned for Jenkins and Valeriana to stay alert. A growing guilt weighed heavily on me. We had brought this destruction to their world, a world that was once vibrant and alive. My focus sharpened. I knew we had to stop it, no matter the cost. Finally, we reached the valley floor. The forest here was unnaturally quiet, a silence that felt heavy and wrong. No birds sang, no insects buzzed. The leaves on the trees were brittle, and they had a distinct metallic sheen. The air itself seemed to hum with the low electrical energy of the blight. As we moved deeper into the corrupted woods, I spotted something ahead. It was a small, abandoned farmhouse, its wooden walls weathered and gray. A broken wooden fence surrounded it, but even here the blight had reached. The creeping metallic rust covered parts of the fence, like a slow, consuming disease. It was a stark reminder of the lives affected by our arrival. We entered the first abandoned house. Dust motes danced in the dim light, showing a table set for a meal never finished. Plates sat empty, a half-eaten loaf of bread lay dry. It was a sudden departure. Valeriana sighed, her gaze fixed on a small wooden toy soldier on the floor. Its paint was flaking, a tiny piece of a lost childhood. This was the true cost of the blight. Jenkins picked up the toy soldier, curiosity in his eyes. "Sergeant, this is strange," he mumbled, his brow furrowed. It feels incredibly heavy. He turned the small figure over in his palm. The wooden base was transforming, its grain dissolving into solid, dark iron. The blight was not just a decay, it was a dark, metallic transmutation. It was turning everything into cold, dead metal. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the barn outside. It was a sound of splintering wood and raw power. My training kicked in instantly. "Contact! Get down!" I yelled, pushing Jenkins behind a sturdy wooden beam. Valeriana drew her bow, her movements fluid and silent. We took cover, rifles raised, listening intently for the next sound. The tension in the air was thick, almost suffocating. I cautiously peered through a dirty window, my rifle scope pressed against my eye. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was a grave maw, but horribly changed. Its tough, gray hide was covered in sharp metallic growths like rusted spikes. Its small eyes, usually malevolent red, now glowed with an eerie, pulsing blue energy. The blight had twisted it into something far more dangerous. The blighted grave maw smashed through the barn wall, sending wood splinters flying. It let out a guttural roar, not of aggression, but of confusion and pain. It wasn't attacking us directly. Instead, it thrashed wildly, destroying the remaining structures around it. Its movements were erratic, almost desperate. The creature was a force of chaos, an immediate danger simply by existing. Valeriana whispered, her voice low and filled with empathy. "It is in pain, Sergeant. The blight tortures it, twisting its very being." She looked at me, her ancient eyes holding a plea. "We should not engage it if we can avoid it. It is a victim, like the people who lived here." Her words presented a clear moral choice. I weighed her words, then nodded. Engaging it would only waste time and resources. Our mission was to find the source. "All right, Valeriana, let's move," I ordered quietly. Using the grave maw's chaotic thrashing as a distraction, we slipped out the back of the farmhouse. We moved quietly through the corrupted woods, deeper into the valley. The metallic tang in the air grew stronger. As we pressed on, the low humming sound intensified, vibrating through the very ground. It felt like a physical pressure building in my chest. Jenkins's tablet screen suddenly flashed bright red. He held it up, his face grim. "Sergeant, critical warning, energy levels are off the charts, highly unstable." The blight's source was very close now, and it was dangerously active. We broke through the last line of twisted trees into a clearing. There it was, our experimental device, the Anomaly. It hovered a few feet off the ground, exactly as we had last seen it, but now it pulsed with a sickly, vibrant green light. Visible waves of corruption radiated outwards, twisting the very air. The sight filled me with a dreadful awe. I raised my rifle, focusing my scope on the pulsing device. My finger hovered near the trigger. Then I froze. Standing near the machine, seemingly unharmed by its destructive energy, were two figures. They wore dark, hooded robes, their faces hidden in shadow. Who were they, and why were they here, at the heart of the blight? This was a complication we hadn't expected.
Si te gustó el video, pon me gusta, suscríbete y activa la campanita para no perderte la próxima parte.